Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to my brand new channel. Well, it's an older channel, it's a brand new name, and I've renamed it Spiritual Siren. Brrr. I will come back and I will do another live on why that name. But I want to talk about my super simple three-step process to become happier. And even in me just saying that, I get it. I think back decades ago, I didn't always have this perception of the world. I didn't always believe that innately humans are good. And truly, everything that's happening really is happening for my greatest growth and my highest good, right? This is an embodiment. It's who I be. It's the way that I exist in the world, is everything I see out there. Not only is the glass always half full, but the other half of the glass is full of even greater infinite potential. And I didn't just arrive at this thought, right? It's a practice, it's a way of being in the world. So as woo and as spiritual and as esoteric as I am, I'm also very rooted, I'm very grounded. I love diving into the neurosciences and just the sciences in general, anatomy, biology, and being able to pair those, right? Being able to envelop those and fold those in. So I'm going to give you the simple three-step process. And it really is. This is my MO. The way that I teach and I coach and I mentor is super effing simple. It's so silly simple, but it's not easy to apply. And what I mean by that is the brain is going to fight you. It's going to tell you it can't possibly be that easy to change our life, right? Just by recontextualizing the way that you think about different things. But here's the kicker. Somewhere along the line, your brain, right, your humanness, your ego, the mind body, however you want to identify the nervous system, made a decision about something. It made a decision about something and then it ran with it. And then all of the other ways that the synapses fire in the brain and that it sends signals to the body, right? Hormonal system is flooded, becomes the pattern, becomes the habitual pattern for who you are out in the world. And because you're viewing the world through this lens, through this very specific lens, you keep calling it into you. You keep manifesting literally back into your vortex of reality that which you believe about yourself, which all stems back to somewhere in the first 5 years of your life when the brain was being developed. And there's all sorts of different ways that I teach specifics in this. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about the three simple things that you can do that truly, if you just did these three simple things and you caught yourself in the moment, you would change your life. You would truly become not only happier, but more joyful, right? It's an emotion that's fleeting. Joy, right? Being joyful about your life is something that you can embody, that gets inside like it literally gets into the tissues of who you are, and it moves at a frequency to which you then are raising your own vibration, your own frequency in the way that you view the world. All right. You ready for the three steps? The first one is notice when something happens. When something happens that you wouldn't necessarily desire it to happen, just notice, just pick up on it. And maybe I'll give some examples here. So I'm going to give you like the three steps. The first one, catch yourself in a trigger. Catch yourself when you are really annoyed at something that happens. The second thing is to then, one, recognize that you are in a trigger, right? Just be conscious that you're a conscious human and that you're having a reaction to something. The second part is to then take what we call an objective observer. So you may have heard of this before, but I'm really going to invite you to notice this all the time. Notice it throughout your day. Notice when you get, a bill in the mail that you didn't expect. Notice when you get an email that like you're now scheduled for another appointment or another meeting that you're like, ugh, that's like the last thing I want to do, right? Just notice all of these triggers, big or small, whatever it might be. Second part, objective observer, the objective observer. So here's where you look at the situation from what feels like very removed from the emotional charge that you have in it. So, like how a reporter would report the facts of what happened, right? And then the third part, and again, it seems silly, right? It seems simple. But really, somewhere in your life, you did all of this and you created the meaning to what these all of these triggers mean for you. And it's just activated. It's activated because you have a specific desire. And when you collapse these triggers, by doing this, there's all sorts of different processes and ways we can do this. This is just like one of the many ways that I teach, and I can in real time kind of help you. Let's say that you never work with me, right? But you can take this information out into the world and you can practice it, and you can tell your friends about it. You can tell tell everyone about this, please. Okay, the third part is you then decide to make up a whole other story about what happened. Because again, you made up a story in the first place as to what happened. And this is what's caused you to get into the perpetual spin of seeing the world in a way that you wouldn't desire, which then causes the manifestations that you're experiencing, right? We tend to believe that manifestations is like this grandiose thing that you're going to manifest a dream home, and you're going to manifest a dream partner, and you're going to manifest, a dream body and the bank accounts and all of that. Well, yes, that is part of it. But manifestation also is literally listening to me talk right now. It's on the device that you're holding. It's on the clothes that you're wearing. It's in the vehicle that you'll drive. It's in the home that you're currently in. It's the food that you will eat today. Like everything is a manifestation. It's not some magical thing that exists out into the world. You're literally manifesting moment by moment. You're manifesting still listening to me right now. So let me take you through an example. Okay. This is an example that I use a lot, actually. So let's say in this first scenario, you're caught in a trigger. You're driving down the road and all of a sudden someone swerves into your lane and you're terrified, right? You're driving, let's say that the road you're driving down, you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, you're on the freeway, and someone jerks into your lane. You jerk the wheel, right? Terrified, scared. You move into fight, flight, freeze, fawn instantly. Your body instantly moves into a hormonal state where the back of the brainstem is open. Your body is flooded with all of the chemicals, the neurochemicals that happen when you move into fight, flight. Those hormones are traveling at, we can measure at 286 miles per hour inside the vacuum of your body. It's traveling. And you're in a trigger, right? So what would you do in this situation? So for me, I'm going to admit, someone swerves into my lane, I'm probably going to jerk the wheel and be like, what the is their problem, right? What are they doing? Are they not paying attention? Are they on their phone? Right? Again, these are the visceral responses that happen, right? This is where you can feel like that knot in the throat, or the drop in the stomach, or you start to sweat, or your heart starts to beat, right? All natural reactions when we move into fight, flight. So what I'm asking you to do is, the next time that you're in a trigger like this, as big or as small as it might be, breathe through it and note that if it is truly life or death, which this situation, it could truly be life or death, that you're honoring that, right? This is the part of the ego that comes in. It's the instinct versus intuition. And you're going to honor it, and you're going to take a breath, and you're going to say, okay, now that I'm safe, all the drivers are safe on the road, whatever the analogy is for you here. And as you take some space and you take a breath, even in the most heightened state of needing to be in the ego or in the fight flight, the highest charged emotions, just in the way that we are designed in our bodies, cannot last longer than 15 minutes total. If it's lasting longer than 15 minutes, it's because you're hopping on the phone and you're telling your mom or your best friend or your partner, you'll never believe what this a-hole did. I don't know if YouTube's going to cut me off because I'm dropping F-bombs and stuff, so I'm catching myself in it. And you're telling the story, right? You're reliving the story. You're staying in it. So you're keeping it activated. So you're keeping that energy activated, which the energy that you're putting out is literally coming back to you as well, right? Whatever you move through the toroidal field, through the emotions that you're feeling, is coming right back to you. So you're just going to breathe. You're going to take a breath. You're going to note, I'm safe. They're safe. And so now I'm going to ask you in that second part to look at it from a reporter point of view, just the facts of what actually happened. So the second one is, all right, well, I was driving down the road. Maybe even remove yourself from the actual car. Person A was driving down the road. Person B swerved into person A's lane, causing person A to swerve the wheel, quite possibly but narrowly missing the median, however like that plays out, right? Just the facts. You're trying to remove all of the emotions from it. It's the facts. That's what happened. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the part that can completely change your life. This third part is what you are doing over and over and over again in your life. You're making up stories about what's going on, and you believe that to be the truth because it's from your own perception, right? Your own perception is the way that you're seeing reality. It's the reason why when you look out into the world, you're seeing amazing love and light. Or you're seeing doom and gloom and fight and, and all of that, like the lack, the need. So your third part is to then play with this. Like get really like make this funky, right? You could create like whatever the thing might be for the other person. So in this analogy, if you're driving down the road, something that I might create for myself is let's say person B, I'm driving down the road, person B is it's her first day on the job and she really needs this job. And she's, I don't know, that like, again, bring the emotions into it when you come into the third one. So this person that's driving and she really needs this job, she's escaped a really abusive relationship and she's got two little babies in the back seat where she's finally worked it out that, a relative can watch the babies. And so she's driving down the road and she's really nervous about starting the job, like the imposter syndrome coming in. Is she going to be enough? Is she going to do enough? Is it going to pan out? And the babies are screaming in the back seat and one of them throws the bottle and she's just trying to calm her nerves. She's trying to like be in the moment, just get the babies to the relative that's going to watch them. And when the baby drops the bottle, she goes to lean into the back seat. As she does that, she inadvertently jerks the wheel and notices she jerks the wheel, which causes her to go into even more fight flight. She immediately like looks over at person A driving and begins to profusely apologize. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. All of the things. And then she continues on her day and she continues to feel remorse, to feel sorry. It was an accident. Now she realizes the next time the babies throw a bottle or drop the bottle or whatever, the safest thing to do is to continue driving. And she's learned from this. And you realize also person A now realizes to be a little bit more aware, be a little bit more present as they're driving, down the freeway. So just notice for a moment, like how those two stories, the first one, like, what the hell's their problem? Like, are they not paying attention? I bet they're on their phone, right? All of these ways that we might be telling the story. And the analogy to this over and over and over again in your life. So this is something that, as I said, I'll be very honest, this would be my initial reaction or perception, but this actually happened to me the other day where I'm here in Utah and it was one of those days where like the black ice is real and you just basically skate. And I was coming up onto a light, an intersection, a major intersection. And as I tap the brakes, and I have four-wheel, front-wheel drive, I have four, is that a thing? I have the kind of tires and the all-wheel drive that you need to drive in Utah in the wintertime. And as I approached the intersection, I tapped the brakes and I realized, oh, I'm just going to skate. We're actually going to just skate straight through. And I happen to have my two kids in the back seat. I have three kids, but my two youngest were in the back seat. I didn't realize when I was telling this story how this would like parallel. But as I approached the intersection, I could see a big A truck coming along, coming, just going to move through the intersection. I was attempting to turn actually, but I realized that's not happening. So what I did is I laid on the horn, right? I was honking and honking to let this truck know I'm not going to be able to stop. And according to the timing that I'm kind of perceiving what's going on, we would hit head on. They would hit me head on and like almost like a T-bone situation. So I'm laying on the horn, we're skating through, my two kids are in the back seat and I can feel them, right? They're not saying anything, but I can feel the fear coming up in them. I'm laying on the horn and I'm getting closer. And the emotion, the feeling that came over me was, he doesn't hear me. Does he not hear me? Maybe his radio is up so loud, but for whatever reason, he's not slowing down. He's still plowing through. And so I turned the wheel just enough that I swooped behind him narrowly and ended up on the other side of the intersection. So as I preface this by saying, I'll be honest that I might think like, what the hell's their problem? Are they on their phone? Like whatever it might be. Truly, as I feel into this and I realize I actually lived this out fairly recently, that's old me. That's part of me that has some of this belief pattern in me that I use when I'm teaching, right? When I'm coaching and when I'm mentoring. But me now in this moment wouldn't have that same visceral reaction. So as I did this, I didn't even need to go through the objective observer. I didn't even need to take the breath, right? Of course, I was in fight flight because I was literally, it was a life or death situation. It could have been. But there was this breath where I paused, flipped around, came back to the light, and I was right back to that higher frequency, higher vibration of where I trusted. I was trusting this person that was driving the truck. They must not have heard me laying on the horn. Maybe they didn't even see me, but I wasn't judging. I wasn't placing blame. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that I then move through my night with my girls back to what it was like before this incident happened. And that's where taking something like this three-step process truly can change your life. It changes your entire perception of the world, right? Instead of going home and then calling my best friend or calling my mom or calling my sister and complaining about this, this obviously, all of the things that we might say about this other driver, I let it go. And I didn't let it go in a bypassing way, right? That's one of the things that I see in the world right now also where, you want this so bad. You want the gratitude, you want the thing that's going to get you to the next, but the way of indicating if you are moving in alignment with yourself is if you are manifesting what it is that you really desire to have in the world in all of the ways, in the seemingly small things and the seemingly really big things as well. So, this feels really good to end this here. I invite you to practice this. I invite you to share this information to other people. It truly is. It's one of those things that, like, there's simple techniques. This is something that's been around for a really long time. I tend not to pull a lot of things from like traditional types of therapies. This is one that's super simple, and it's one that you can catch yourself in. And that's the thing, is to catch yourself when you're in it, to be conscious that you're conscious, and then to consciously decide, I want to change this. I want to change the way that my brain is perceptualizing, is seeing other people in the world. And I'm also aware that I've created something, I've created a meaning out of something up until the first 5 years of life, right? When the brain is like, the actual plasticity of the brain is being shaped. And there's a pattern that's being created as you are seeing the world. And there's all sorts of other ways that like this is happening. But the good news is it can easily be shifted. It can be easily be shifted now. At whatever age you are, the brain is always open to changing its belief patterns in a moment. In just a moment, you can just decide. In this moment right now, you can decide, I'm ready to see the world through the lens that will make me happier. And here is a super simple way that you can do that, and on repeat over and over and over again. If this is something that you're intrigued by and you would like to work with me ongoing, whether it's one-on-one or in a group, and then I'm going to invite you to go ahead and send me a direct message and we can have a conversation. I run groups 4 times a year, and I work one-on-one with clients throughout the entire year as well. So I hope this helps. I'm loving my new name, Spiritual Siren. I'll talk about that. It feels like that's another live that's going to be coming in. But for now, I'll end this here. And I'd love to know, I don't know, I guess if you can comment, let me know if you practice this, if you shared this out. Ask questions. I'll respond and I'll give you some more feedback. All right. Have a great day.